Hey there and welcome back to Best Practice TV. This is Ask Best Practice, and what we've had is a great response to our internal audit webinar and how to conduct internal audits. We didn't get through all of the questions, and I've got a big list here that I'm going to go through, and we're going to run this Ask Best Practice format in this particular way, get through all these frequently asked questions about internal audits. So I hope we can help you keep learning and keep improving every day, so stay tuned. So thanks for joining us. I'm just going to run through some questions and some answers from the back of our webinar. They're questions we couldn't get through all of them, and it's all about helping you to learn about internal audits. So question 1, how do internal and external auditors differ and how should they relate? Well, the first thing is obviously internal audits. They're internal auditors. They're part of your management system. So they're a technique, or internal audits and the internal auditors are a technique that's used for internal business improvement. If you look at the ISO standards, there's 3 objectives. Do you comply with the standard? So it's an internal audit against the standard. You can grab one of the free checklists from our website to help you with that. There's a checklist for each of the ISO standards on the website. You download it, you start an internal audit, and you can answer the questions. So that's an internal audit. So the 3 objectives are compliance with the standard, compliance with your planned arrangement, so your management system, the things you said you would do. Are you doing the things you said you would do? And then the 3rd objective is to identify opportunities for improvement. So across any of the management system standards that are talking about internal audits, they're your 3 objectives. Now, the external auditors, or the second or third party auditors, like we are here at Best Practice, it's all about verifying compliance with the standard, verifying that the standard and the system have been implemented, and then helping you to grow your business and identify opportunities for improvement. Now, we've got an agenda. We've got to be able to put our hand on our heart, or in this case, our hand on our Best Practice logo, and say that we've seen enough evidence to demonstrate that you comply with the standard. Now, how do they relate? It's often good for an external auditor and an internal auditor to chat when there's an external audit taking place, so that they can discuss the internal audit strategy, what the priorities are, and ensure that the external audit program and the internal audit program complement each other, but don't duplicate. And probably the principal thing you want to try and avoid there in the business is internal audit fatigue. Okay, question 2, I'll do about 3, and then we'll jump into part 2 of this video series on internal audit questions and answers on our frequently asked questions. How does internal auditing maintain its independence and objectivity? Now that's tricky, because if you're an internal staff member of an organisation, it is difficult to be independent. But primarily what we're looking for, particularly here with our audits, is that our staff are not involved with the organisation, so they can be impartial. They're not affected by politics or opinion or decisions or relationships. They can just come in as a fresh set of eyes. There's no emotion involved. They can do an observation of what's happening in the organisation and really help you to identify how the business can grow and improve. I've seen in a lot of cases where internal auditors or even external auditors get too emotionally involved in the organisation and the politics, and it's very hard for them to make impartial judgments and write impartial reports, and they might side with one person or the other in an argument, and you do see that come through in threads of audit reports. So how do you remain independent? Practice the principle of sitting on the fence, and so all you're looking for is a match between both sides of the fence. You're looking for, is the organisation doing what they said they would do, and then just saying it matches or it doesn't match. It's black and white. Yes, it is what they said they would do, or no, it's not. And it's not up to you to decide which one's right. That's up to the management team of the area that you're looking at, the business unit or department or team or country or business or city that you're looking at. Are they doing what they said they do, match or mismatch? So in terms of your intent, in terms of how you're going to report your findings, that will help you to establish the independence and objectivity in that process. So look, it's a complicated topic, but that's just my quick answer for it. How does the internal audit activity go about prioritising its resources? Now that's a tricky one. I've seen lots of people come up with systems for prioritising of what they're going to audit and how they're going to do it and what's involved in the internal audit process. But my fundamental recommendation is to start with the really important stuff first, and then progressively less important stuff as it goes. So things like, in your quality management system, auditing processes that consistently upset customers. So if there's a particular thing that is a common thread with customer complaints, customer concern or issues with customers, then that'd be an area that I would be looking to view more often than other areas of the business. From a safety perspective, looking at and reviewing any processes and controls around anything that could kill someone or make someone very, very sick in the organisation. And from an environmental perspective, anything that's going to cause significant environmental damage or has caused significant environmental damage, those would be the priority areas. Now, what I've observed across my career and across the thousands of companies we've worked with here at Best Practice is people defaulting to checking spelling, document control, punctuation, formatting, all those sorts of things. So I am not an advocate for looking at and reviewing documents. That's not an internal audit. That's a desktop publisher's job to look at, spell checking and punctuation and formatting of documents. So if you're finding you're getting too caught up in that and you're not actually looking at how the operation runs and you're starting to write findings like documents haven't been updated for 2 years or that the version was wrong or the date was wrong or all those sorts of things, then you're not going down the right track and it doesn't add any value to organisations, and it certainly won't get the attention of senior management if all you do is belt them with recommendations on how documents are managed and how documents are handled. We're moving a long way away from that, and they're not in the new versions of the standards. They're moving to outcomes focus. So if your outcomes and the results that you're getting in your organisation are not as good as they should be, then you pick those areas as an example. So customer service, if there's areas where you're only giving yourself like a 2 out of 10 as a score in terms of your quality of customer service, that's what you want to fix. Your quality system is about improving your customer service and what you do in your organisation. Your safety system is about improving safety, and your environment system is about improving environment. It's not about documents, it's not about revisions. So that'll be my top tip there in terms of what to prioritise. And last one, how should an organisation go about sourcing its internal audit activity? I fundamentally and am a huge advocate for internal auditors as internal resources. If you're an organisation that's engaging an external person to do your internal audits, it's not going to give you as much value as you can get from having your internal team undertake your internal audits. Now, if you need to call them internal best practice assessments or internal business improvement assessments, go right ahead and change their name. But training your internal staff to do your internal reviews is going to give you 2 key pieces of value. And this is the best thing that I can say out of this whole video. The first is, when you ask someone to undertake an assessment or an internal audit of a process, what are they going to do? They're going to go and read all about it. So someone from your finance team is going to learn about your sales team. And that's amazing. And the second thing is, you're going to get 2 team members of your organisation working together, looking at opportunities for improvement and spitballing ideas about what they could do to be really amazing. And ask the question. Have them both ask the question. Go and look at this department, and one of them is a representative of the department and one of them is the internal auditor, and say, what is the 5-star version of this process or this team or this department look like? What does the 5-star version of this business look like? And that's going to start to unpack your opportunities for improvement. How does the 5-star version of this business treat their customers? How does the 5-star version of this business look after its safety, its environment, its data security, its food safety, all those sorts of things? And that's the intent of the internal audit process. So the question is, how do we resource it? Of course, you can get a contractor in, but your contractor is going to come in, consume the knowledge and leave, but your internal staff are going to get so much more. Yes, you'll get a little internal audit process. They won't be amazing when you start the program, your internal audits, but the learning and the consumption of internal knowledge in the organisation will be absolutely amazing. You can see I'm clearly very passionate about that particular question, but seeing, I'm looking out the window here at my team members, when I ask them to review each other and look at opportunities for improvement in what each other are doing, they learn so much, and particularly the person doing the assessments learns about other parts of the business. And while initially my team felt quite challenged by peer reviewing each other, the growth in the individuals has been absolutely amazing. So I'm going to wrap it up there for our frequently asked questions. This is video 1. Look out for video number 2 in this particular series of our frequently asked questions on internal audits. So to see more from Best Practice TV, hit the subscribe button right here on YouTube, hit our Facebook page here at Best Practice and click like. jump across onto the Instagram page of Best Practice TV and click follow, because there's something every day on Instagram, and find me on LinkedIn and send me an invite request, and we can message backwards and forwards. And if you've got any questions, that's what I'm there for. I'm there to help. And if all else fails, call us here at Best Practice, and I will see you next time on Best Practice TV. Bye for now.